EGM Network.
Hey everybody, we are here with a very special guest today. Today, our show is Her State of Mind, and it is Glow and Grow, and we will talk a little bit more why I named it that title here in a second. Our guest is Shala Edwards, founder and CEO of Treasure Coast Girls Coalition, and she is a wealth of knowledge, and of course, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so today's show is going to focus a lot on mental health, but specifically with young women and young ladies, because that is what Shala deals with every single day as a mentor, a tutor, and much more to many young women growing into ladies. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. I wanted to, so every day, Shala is out in the community working with young ladies. And when I say young ladies, age ranges, middle school, what are the age range of your girls?
So we start at age 9 and we go up to 18. But of course, after 18, you don't release them. So
Right. They're
ours.
Yes. And our what we talk about could apply to really any age and and can apply to young men too. But we're going to focus on the women because that's your specialty and what you're out there doing every day. They are doing fabulous because I watch what you do and I sneak up on your pictures and read your pages. And there's a picture there of one of the big groups of her girls. What was that one from?
That is from the Visiting Nurse Association, one as part of our one of our summer camps. We do experiential outings. So a large percentage of that cohort of girls were looking at careers in healthcare, nursing in particular. So we wanted to visit one of the largest nonprofits in the community to collaborate, thanks to Miss Pat Nipper. And that was the photo that we got after their tour and presentation at VNA.
Good, nice. So we wanted to kind of hit on emotional wellness of young ladies, how it affects them. That was kind of your focus point that you told me about was emotional, also mental wellness as well, and how it affects them every day, which is huge, especially young girls. Statistically, I kind of looked up some statistics and 70% of girls believe they're not good enough or believe they don't measure up to something in some way. That's a huge number. And my other statistics get even higher than that regarding young women. So for you specifically, because you're the main, there's a lot of people that help you, a lot of teachers and mentors, and you have tutors and things, but you're the beginning and where it began. So for you specifically, what do you think in your life shaped you to the way that you now care for your mental health and wanting to help other people with their mental and emotional health, like these young ladies?
Well, I do believe it starts at a very young age. Girls are always told they're not good enough. Boys are better. You know, these things that we instill in the mindset of children, young minds at a very early age, that starts to sit in their mind and starts to manifest. So I, grew up around very independent women, but also women that were super submissive to men, which I think is generational, and at some point I had to figure out for myself, like, is this my mindset or is this what I've always seen? And that helped me start to really realize that you don't have to adopt or adapt to whatever mindset you've been programmed to. You can reprogram. You can unplug,
retrain the brain,
and retrain the brain. And that's what I started to do. It was a lot of personal work, inner work, and very intentional work, going from that fixed mindset to that growth mindset. And once I started to reshape and rethink and reprogram my brain, it started to be like, oh, and that light bulb. Yeah, those light bulb moments. And now that I'm not where I'm headed. I'm on a very really amazing journey. I'm not there yet, but where I'm at right now, it's a beautiful space. Being able to understand that, every morning, first of all, waking up with a mindset of gratitude. Yes, a heart of gratitude, and thanking the man upstairs for where I am right now, what I've accomplished up to this point. You know what I mean? So that mindset, instead of getting up every day, oh God, today's going to be hell.
No, there's your mindset, right?
That's
right
your
from the
mindset.
step,
You know what I
like the
mean?
jump.
And I just chose not to wake up like that every morning. I chose not to go to bed on what happened today or what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be better. Hey, today was hell,
Yeah.
but tomorrow's going to
Exactly.
be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that growth mindset that things will change, things can change.
Yeah, for sure.
And now that I have the responsibility of shaping other young minds, I just refuse to tell them everything is bad. You're not good. You're not good enough. You know what I mean?
Or
I'm
how
not
to
going to
deal with the bad.
Yeah,
like
I'm
everything, when bad comes along, because that's just part of life.
Mm-hmm.
When bad comes along, how to deal with it.
How to
healthy.
overcome
And-
that and that those healthy coping mechanisms. That yes, it happened. 99% is not what happened, but how did you respond? How did you recover?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's something that I choose to continue to hope for in older minds as well. But I have the daily responsibility of young minds.
Yes.
And I'm very aware of that. I'm very careful with that because that's a huge responsibility.
It's a very huge responsibility, but such a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing you just said was gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right on point with that, because if we're grateful, especially to God, as you said, the more that we are grateful for and we do without the intention of receiving, the more blessed we become and the further on the journey, like you say, that he takes us.
Right.
Not to say there's not bad that comes along, because it is part of life.
Right.
But now you have that mindset of how to cope with it and how to deal with it. And you're their example. So if they see you doing that, we don't teach by what we say, we teach by what we do, and we lead by example. And they're watching you as an amazing example daily. And those that you have around you are also great examples.
Right.
And which is why you have them there, all the people that are helping you.
I only hang out with great people. I don't surround myself with, anybody that's going to take me off this path or to, pull me down or, who are really not genuinely happy with themselves first, because only when we're happy with ourselves can we be happy for others.
Yeah, we have to love ourselves to love other people. And I think I don't want to discredit whoever came up with the saying. I heard it from Joyce Meyer, but it could have been not her and her using it, but hurt people.
Yes.
And so, if we don't love ourselves, if we're hurting inside, we're going to even sometimes non-intentionally hurt other people because we haven't resolved stuff. We don't even realize we haven't resolved deep down in there and why we're so hateful or why we're mean.
And other people that are happy and have joy, they trigger that.
Yes.
And unhappy people don't understand that.
Spirit,
you know what I mean?
Spirit. And
it will trigger them. If you're too happy, you're smiling too hard, you're doing too much, that triggers them.
Yes.
And that's that unresolved trauma or sadness or rejection or whatever they've experienced in their life, that they can't truly, genuinely be happy for other people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes they don't realize it. They don't realize it. They've stuffed that so far down that they really need to consider the help or talk. It doesn't even have to be a therapist, so to speak. It would be great. But sometimes just in general, being around someone else
around
that
other
can help
positive
them pull it out.
People that have a growth mindset, that want to see others truly thrive, that love, that are full of joy, the fruits of the Spirit.
Exactly. And
when you have that, you're going to attract, you know what I mean,
and
the
that's why I
right
say
people in your life.
Spirit knows spirit, because that person that hasn't resolved it, it's not, I always try to step back and take my flesh out. I mess up. But when I see them, I try to remind myself that it's not them, it's that spirit within them.
Yes.
And to deal with that rather than that person, because I know sometimes they're not necessarily meaning it. It's coming from that spirit.
Right.
And I know that my spirit is stronger than that spirit.
Right.
And so you have to deal with it. And to me, it's a warfare of a spiritual battle.
It is.
As everything daily.
It is.
But
and I will tell you the one thing with girls, which is a gift that they haven't really recognized just yet,
discernment.
Is they have the spirit of discernment. And they are like spot on, which is why I spend so much time with the young girls, because it's like they blurt out and say things and I'm like, did you catch that? Whoa. You know what I mean?
Teaching them what it is, because they have it, but they don't know. When you walk in a room or you first meet somebody and you have people say that gut feeling.
Yes.
And I call it my Holy Spirit check. But when I was young, I didn't know what that was. Like I meet somebody and my stomach hurt for a second, or you get this chill, or, when you're come to find out,
it was your gut and your intuition leading your charge of energy, because it's an exchange of energy when you're in a room and it's very thick and it's very you know, the warfare is pulling and it's strong, and it's like you can feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get them through our emotional intelligence program to start understanding themselves very young.
And not ignore those.
And not ignore that, because that can truly, truly, you know, give you a sense of safety or danger.
Yes.
You know,
especially young women.
Yes.
And that another one of those high statistics that I researched, which is sad, but so true, because even now, if I, you know, am transparent, I'm like, gosh, you know, I'm hard on myself too. Still a lot better than I used to be when I was younger. And I'm thinking, wow, this is terrible, but it's so true, because 97% of women in general, young, old, look at their bodies negatively. And have negative thoughts daily. There's a percentage of the 97% that have up to 100 thoughts a day that are negative about themselves. And that's like so sad to me. But when I sit down and like really rethink about it, it's so true. Because even if I sit and think about myself, I just sat down in the studio. I'm like, oh, my hair looks too dark. And it's true. And we need to teach ourselves that no matter what, we are good. We're beautiful.
Good. We are good. We are perfect humans. We are loved by the Most High. And no matter what that flesh says, we are just the thing. I love being the thing. And it's really honestly like what you go back to is mindset.
Yep.
If you can replace those 100 negative thoughts with 100 positive thoughts, how different are you going to see yourself?
And just train your brain to the moment you think it, as soon as you think it, and Satan wants to put that in there, you know, oh, wait, that's not me. No, actually, I am blank, whatever the positive word can be. It can be as simple as not even a body feature, but just saying something positive in general, you know, to change that negative thought and make it go away.
Right.
Because those positives are stronger than the negative unless you let them, you know, overcome you.
Right.
And that was down to, and I'm going back to statistics because we're going to get to how much positive you do with these young ladies that change these statistics, because we can see statistics change. I believe that the statistics are true, but I don't believe in books. I believe in what the power of the Lord can do for people and the positive influences of other people that can do. So these can change. We can see these numbers change, but teen girls specifically, so now we're going to just teen girls, which is a lot of what you deal with, 92 want to change their image. And most of that 92 is weight in general, whether it's too skinny. It doesn't have to be high in weight. I'm too heavy, I'm too skinny. But in general, they're looks, appearances, but the weight is at the top of those appearances for young ladies. And 75% of all young girls have low self-esteem. And again, that's where you come in, and how do we improve it? You know, like, what do we do to improve these girls, you know, body image and what they think about their self-esteem, whether it is body image or something different that they don't feel like
body image is physical and it's on the outside. So really, honestly, we go back to that emotional intelligence training where we're retraining their mind that, you know, whether you feel you're too skinny or too fat or too short or whatever it is in your mind, that's what you've accepted. So now it's playing on your mindset and your spirit that, oh yeah, I am too skinny. I've been skinny my whole life. I'm not going to ever be fat. You know what I mean? But I'm okay. I had to get to that place where I was okay. But it started in childhood where I was bullied for being skinny.
Yes. And so
severely bullied.
Like when I was younger, I was like chubbier. And so to me, telling somebody they were skinny was like in my mind, a positive thing. And I didn't realize.
I got called olive oil, all of the things. And now terrible. I'm like, guess what? Everybody wants to be skinny these days.
Yeah, it's so.
But it started in childhood.
And it really affects you because we think, you know, saying somebody's skinny's in our mind is positive, but they're being bullied for being skinny and called, you know, a rail and all these things. And you don't realize it doesn't matter what it is. You just, you know, just say something in a positive format.
But imagine at 5 or 6 years old, that's what so now you're trying to do everything you can to put on weight, but only to realize that your BMI and your body is never meant to be fat. It's genetics. You know what I mean? So we have to give girls that education and understanding that your family history, there's obesity in your family. So here's how we're going to combat that. Here's how we're going to address that. Healthy foods, you know, dieting, exercise, those are things that we're still, again, reprogramming in their mind that, okay, if you know that this is going to affect you later on in life, or it is going to affect your body type, let's address that versus the name calling, how you see yourself in the mirror. You know what I mean?
And coping mechanisms, because of the majority of the girls that were interviewed, and that 75% that had low self-esteem, also admitted to having negative habits to cope, whether it was smoking or bullying other people,
right,
or it was drinking, or it was just all
they
different
don't have
lists.
the tools
They don't know.
to fight with, or to even repair what is broken inside of them.
Exactly.
So that another statistics that I wanted to touch on as far as our state, you know, and the data that's coming down in Indian River County is 52% of girls feel sad or depressed most days.
Yes.
So all of this is weighing on their mind. You know what I mean? Every day they get up, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not good enough. All of these thoughts. So now you're just being, you know, pushed down and compressed to a point where you're depressed. You can't even come out of it.
Yeah.
So that's where you start to see the grades drop. The promiscuity, you know, the smoking, the vaping, you know, the coping mechanism, anything to cope with, and me not having to deal with that.
Temporary relief. It doesn't last, but we all know that's like addictions are all different things. And there are a lot of, unfortunately, young women, young men, but we're just focusing on the young ladies right now. But there is a lot of pressure from friends and family too, you know, whether it's looks, but also performance, like you said, grades, and people are pressuring them and telling them, oh, you got to get your grades up, but not realizing that those low grades are coming from other inward and outward things.
Other things that they're dealing with on the inside, which is why we try to do a lot of, you know, that holistic type of love, nurturing, sense of safety, meeting their needs, you know what I mean? So that they can really get out of a survival mode and into a mode where they can thrive
and feel good. So they improving the self-esteem. We've already kind of hit that you know, that emotional intelligence is one of the big ways we can improve their self-esteem and help them with their identity and who they are, you know, that they are loved, they are worthy, you know. And the other thing with improving self-esteem we've already established is the positive affirmations, a huge one.
Yes.
And teaching them to be consistent with those positive affirmations. But second is, or third or fourth, whichever one we're on, but is the self-awareness combined with that emotional intelligence that we're already talking about. But self-awareness is like where we practice mindfulness. We, you know, be very, very mindful of who we are, who we're around.
Yes.
Seek therapy if needed.
Yes.
Of course, you know, I bring up therapy because that's, you know, what we do. But, you know, I do say, when I say seek therapy, it doesn't always have to be a professional. Professional would be great. It can
be a life coach. It can be someone you trust.
A mentor. Whoever you can relate with and open up with, feel comfortable with talking. Because getting, you know, we speak life and death with our words. So, you know, speaking to that other person that is going to give you good advice.
Right.
and as long as they're giving you the right advice, whoever you feel the most comfortable with talking. Because a lot of times just speaking out loud helps get it out, you know, and starts bringing that stuff that's unresolved out without even realizing it. And a huge thing for young ladies and young girls from 5 all the way up to 18 to me, but the younger the better that we start it, I feel like, is that we teach them that self-worth, we teach them that they're worthy, but the main point is that self-worth is not in looks and it's not in perfection.
It's not in material things.
Exactly.
It's in your inner self.
All inner, and it's all that perfection, everything being perfect, whether it's grades, whether it's looks, so that there is no such thing as perfection.
Right.
And showing, when we're a mentor, when we're an example, showing them that our
being
imperfections,
transparent. Yes.
because they see, oh wow, because they look up to you and think, oh my gosh, she's so nice and she's so successful and she's so beautiful. But showing them, yes, I'm successful and nice and beautiful, but I'm not perfect. Here's my flaws.
Right.
And then they start to retrain the brain into knowing that flaws are okay.
Yes.
That's part of everyone.
Yes.
All of us have mistakes that we've made. All of us have flaws. To the day we go home and see the Lord, we can grow and keep getting to the next level. But no matter how far we go, we're never going to be perfect.
Right.
And so with them seeing that and learning that is, I think, a huge step in kind of building that self-esteem and becoming better internally and emotionally, because they realize that it's okay to not be perfect.
Right.
Don't be shameful of whatever mistakes you made. Don't be ashamed. Be proud. Because it's a teaching moment. I'm proud I made that mistake.
Own it. And it shows in the long run, like if you were a rebellious teen, you know what I mean? In the long run, you can look back at your life and be like, oh my God, the changes that I made were for the good. I've made so many wonderful changes that I get to own that and be proud of that.
Exactly.
Because there's potential in it. There's return in it. You're always capable of doing the right thing, doing better, improving. And that's the one thing that I'm most proud of as a person and as a community service servant, that I own my mistakes. I own my challenges. I'm not perfect. I enjoy what I do. I love who I love. You know what I mean? I'm true to myself.
Yes.
And I don't want to be anybody else. You know what I mean? And that resilience is what I want to leave as far as my legacy. That's what I'm leaving. Like, she wasn't perfect. She owned it. She was cool. She was down to earth. She had all the great things. You know what I mean? But she was still a wonderful human. Yeah. And that's where I met with them. Like, I loved what I do. And it's natural because I just do it. Like, there's no, there's reward, but there's also so much heaviness in it. It
shows, though, because when you truly love what you do and are passionate about it, that's when you're successful with what you're doing, because of that true love. When you're so passionate about something, you become even better at it because of that passion. It fuels that passion. It fuels the fire,
fuels it.
That passion and love. So, and you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
That I continue to see with so many groups of the young ladies that come and go. And you've grown from this one little lady to this whole huge organization with awards and grants. It's just amazing. And I'm proud of you. Obviously, none of that can happen without God being there and being the purpose behind it. But still, it takes you being obedient to that to happen.
I had to. I was like, obedience is better than a sacrifice. So,
exactly.
God, I will do what you need me to do to keep me here and to keep me. Help me, Lord.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's, it's just a wonderful feeling to just watch the growth happening, because I'm like, Lord, this is you. This is all you. I give you honor, glory, and praise. I will never be able to do this without you. So,
exactly.
That's what I give in light and love and all good things.
Yeah. And I think helping them, which you already do with them, but for everyone listening, helping them set realistic goals.
Yes.
Instead of them, you little ones at a time, they have this huge goal for the future. Great. You can do it. But let's set realistic small ones to get to where you're at, so that you're not discouraged when you don't hit this huge one right off the bat,
right.
So, you want to get them these realistic goals, because hitting little goals at a time, each time is building confidence.
Yes.
So that's helping
and it's
the
building
self-esteem.
resilience. That resilience factor is very important in young people, because they're gonna, aim for 100. You may get a 78 on your first attempt.
That's a pass.
That's right, but you have to use that benchmark to keep going. You can't stop there. You can't crumble. You know what I mean? And they're fragile, so we have to manage and tell them, hey, I set it at 100. But if you get 78, that's still good enough. That's enough to start.
I told my son so many times when he was doing his college classes, he would be mostly C's. And I'm like, C's passing.
Yes.
And I will never forget my uncle, who is a doctor now, but he's the one who told me he was struggling at first in med school, C's passing, but real hard on himself. And he used to say, finally he came to this conclusion. He's like, you know what? At the end of the day, when I graduate, my degree isn't going to say Dr. Blank C average.
Right.
It's Dr. Blank like everybody else that even got the A's. And
we're completed it and finished. Finished strong.
So you meet the goal, as long as, either way, you can have a C or an A, which is still passed. You made it.
Right. And some people can't be A people.
No,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
Some people are average, and it's okay to be average, and it's okay to be underestimated.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that, like I said, when we're building their mindset and, trying to reprogram them, we're intentional about these things that we've discussed in this conversation, because it's important, especially when you look at the statistics.
Yeah. And just redefine to them, we redefine the growth by making sure they're not comparing themselves.
Yes.
We don't compare ourselves to others.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
It will steal your joy trying to compare what the next person next to you is doing. My third grade teacher, Miss Strickland, taught me to keep my eyes on my own paper. She's amazing.
That's so funny.
And I have carried that from third grade. So thank you, Miss Strickland.
Right? I had her too. That's so
She was
funny.
amazing.
Okay. This is what happens when we have a lot of local people in our same town still here, which is good. It's rare to find though.
Yes.
So, but yeah, all of that's good, and encouraging things that promote their confidence, whether it doesn't have to be a sport. Sports are good. Not everybody's a sports person. A sport, if they're good at it, they like it, that's great.
Right.
It could be art. It could be drawing. It
music,
could be speaking.
Dance,
it could be music.
Theater.
Whatever.
All of the things. You can be any of those things
Just
and still be amazing.
Honing in and finding one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be as simple as drawing, and you're a good artist drawing in your room, but something that gives them a focus that they see they're good at. And that kind of helps build the self-esteem, the resilience, all these things that play in. There's so many factors that play into it. And I think you're a multifaceted in knowledge of what it does, or you wouldn't be as successful with the girls as you are. And God knew that. So that's why he did this Treasure Coast Girls Coalition for you. So,
Thank you.
And when I say glow and grow, I didn't put it grow and glow on purpose, because I feel like you got to glow up to then grow up.
Yes.
Because, which is the love yourself
the inside.
first.
The
So
inside
that glow
has to be
come first.
together before you go with the lipstick and the makeup and the lashes, the card. You know what I mean? All of that stuff is external,
superficial. Yeah,
you can have it all and just be one miserable, unhappy person. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'd rather be inside out, and I stand tall and face the sun, because that's what a sunflower does.
Yes.
But I can tell you the inner work is like hidden, but it's so intentional before I ever even step out of my door. So
it's so true. It's so true. What last one piece of advice? We only have a couple minutes to just give, like your one main piece of advice for any lady, young woman, older woman, whatever, that you would give as a lasting, like, here's the best piece I can give you.
Look in the mirror every single morning and tell yourself you're that girl.
There you go.
And whatever that means for you, professional, personal, spiritual, you're that girl.
Yeah. Whatever it is that's positive. I actually have written in my bathroom mirror where guest bathroom. So when people come in, they see it. And I put a scripture on the top of the big mirror, and on the side mirror, it says, I am, with blanks all the way down it. And
they have
so
to fill
when they're
it
washing you have no choice but to see it, because it's right in front of you when you're washing your hands and going to the bathroom in my house. And my hope is that they're actually filling in those blanks with positive things. I don't know. But they're at least reading that scripture, because the more that it goes in, even when you're negative at first and you don't want to hear it, if you see it and you're reading it and speaking it, which aligns biblically, but the more it is, the more it goes in, the more you're feeding yourself and growing. It's like a sunflower. You got to give it water. So we are toward the end of the show, but I want to thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Thanks for having me, especially on this topic and in this month.
Yeah. And we may have you again to focus on some other topics, because there's so many, there's so many you can hit.
I'd love to do it anytime.
Yes. So we hope that you enjoyed this show. If you have any specific questions regarding Treasure Coast Girls Coalition, how to get involved, or if you have questions just in general about emotional or mental health with young ladies, or a mentor, just message us, comment, whatever it is that you can get a hold of us on all the social media outlets. We have a Hydrated Mind and Soul page, and I will get back to you, or I will connect you with Shala. And if there's a topic you want us to do in the future on the show, let me know, and we'll hit that one for you as well. And thank you for watching. As always, many blessings to you. Stay happy and healthy.